On the next problem, negative 2a squared plus 162, I first look for a GCF. Between 2 and 162, there is a GCF of 2. But in addition to factoring out a 2, because the first term of the polynomial is negative, you're going to also factor out a negative. So we're going to factor a negative 2 out. Negative 2a squared divided by negative 2 is a squared. Positive 162 divided by negative 2 is negative 81. Step 2 says how many terms are left, and we're talking about the ones inside the parentheses. We have two terms, a squared minus 81. And this looks like, because it's two terms, we need a formula. So which formula is it? Well, 81 is a perfect square, and so is a squared. So we're looking at a squared minus b squared, a difference of squares. So I know in my answer I'm going to have a negative 2. But just focusing on the parentheses for a moment, we have to have it in the form a squared minus b squared. So the first one clearly is a being squared. And what squared gets you 81? Well, 9. Now that I've got it written in this form, now I can put my a's in the front, 9's in the back, and 1 plus, 1 minus. Don't forget to bring the negative 2 down. That's why I brought it down in the beginning, so I wouldn't forget. A lot of times students will forget to do that. Step 3 says, is there anything else that can be factored? Well, negative 2 can't be factored anymore. A plus 9 can't be, and a minus 9 can't be. So this is now totally factored. On my next problem, 6x squared minus 6x, we're looking for a GCF, and looks like the GCF here is 6 between the two. We also have an x, so 6x is a GCF, that's in both terms. When I factor out a 6x, I get 6x squared divided by 6x is 1x. Now that I have an x behind it, I can come in and erase the 1 if I really wanted to. I don't need that 1 there, or I can leave it there. On the next term, I have negative 6x divided by positive 6x. That's negative 1. Now, the second one, I cannot erase that. That has to be there. Because it has two terms, the answer has to have two terms left in the parentheses. I could erase the 1 in front of the x if I really wanted to, because there is already an x behind it. So I could just write it x plus minus 1. So this is completely factored. X minus 1 can't go any further. There's no squared left on the inside of the parentheses, so it's not like it's a binomial and needs to factor more. You can't even go anymore. So this is a good answer. If you wanted to leave the 1 in front, you're totally welcome to leave the 1 in front of the x. Either one of these will work, but you must have the 1 on the second term. Okay, on the next problem, we're looking for a GCF between the first and the second term and this third term. Between these three terms that are separated with pluses and minuses, I can see that there's something common in all three. I see an x minus 1 in all three of them. When I factor out the x minus 1, I'm left with 2x squared minus 13x plus 15. Okay, x minus 1 can't go any further, but the second parentheses can. It looks like, how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3 terms in there. Is a equal to 1? Well, no, because there's a 2 here. That means it's a little bit harder trinomial, which means you can either use guess and check or the AC method. On this problem, I'm going to use guess and check, so I can factor this into 1x times 2x. 15 I can either factor into 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. I'm going to try 1x and 2x, because that's the only choice I have. And then I'll try 3 and 5. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. When I multiply, I'm getting 6 and 5. That's not going to get me 13, is it? So let's try another one. Let's rearrange those, and let's put the 5 in the top and the 3 in the bottom. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm getting 10x and 3x. Yep, 10x and 3x does add to negative 13. The positive on the 15 says my signs are the same, so they're either going to be both positive or both negative. In this case, they both have to be negative in order to add to negative 13. So the x minus 1 in red here stays. And then we have x minus 5 and 2x minus 3 from here. And that is our final answer. None of those factors can be factored any further, and I know I am done. This concludes the lesson on deciding which factoring method I should use.